So what you saw there was the absolute destruction of the CEN Ying team when built specifically around death prevention. And yeah, in this video I will be explaining how you can build this team, right? First of all, I have to give a shout out to this user you see on the screen right here. This is by no means my idea. I simply saw it on Reddit. At first, I couldn't believe that it would actually work, right? And I had doubts about how this team would work, but yeah, I built it up, right? I spent several hours tinkering with the build. I tried it out and it exceeded my expectations, right? I couldn't actually believe how this would work, but when you try it, it's actually surprising how OP it is. So yeah, we're gonna walk through how you can build this team, what sort of units you'll need, what sort of memory traces you'll need, all of that, and then we'll see it in the battle, right? Actually, I will do the battle live because I'm that confident that this team will work. It's very high success rate. I would say when I tried it, you can get it to work like 80% of the time. The only thing that can prevent a successful run will be your reaction time, because in some cases there is one specific moment where you have like, I don't know, even on one-time speed, maybe a 0.3 to 0.5 seconds to react and use a skill, right? If you don't use the skill in time, you will simply lose the run, but then again, you can just retry and get it to work the second time, right? So first of all, for ECHOMANCERS, what we will need is the main damage dealer CEN YING. Mine is currently Ascension level 5, Potential Exploration level 5. I will be using her as a leader in the NEXUS, so you do want to upgrade the Potential Exploration if possible, right? These are her current seed skills. You do not need to have a high seeds level. 0 is enough. However, I would recommend having level 1 because it simply increases the damage that you do. The second unit you'll need is Su Xiao, right? This one you do not need to upgrade at all. The only thing we will be using is her combat trait, which basically allows you to revive them, and it does not require any seed upgrades at all. Third unit we will need is Gaia. This one you will need to have upgraded to seed skill level 1. However, since this is a 4-star unit, it shouldn't be too much of an issue getting that second dupe, right? Now, for the last two units, you will need some sort of supports of any type, right? I do prefer you to use supports because it will simply be easier to stack Inspire stacks, right? So the main one I would highly recommend will be Freda, right? And the reason for that is, first of all, she is water type, and second of all, she is a support type, which gives you offensive buffs with this active skill. As you can see, increases the critical rate and MST, which will increase the damage you do massively. And also, because we will be using traces that stack your Inspire stacks based on support buffs as well as based on water units, she will be the perfect fit for this. Now, for the second support to use, that is completely up to you. However, if you do have Long King, I would recommend using her because, again, much like Freda, she will be able to do a heal, which will give you extra Inspire stacks. And she is also of a water element, which will give you extra Inspire stacks based on having 2 water units in your team. Okay, so for the first trace we will need, this will be a rare type trace, and that is where the sun is. Since this is a rare type trace, you shouldn't have too many issues getting it, right? You will most likely already have it. It gives you TRM, which isn't exactly what we need. However, we are here for this specific trait, and that is for every 2% HP lost, the Echomancer's damage dealt will be increased to 2, 3, and 5%. When it comes to the Nexus run, this one you really want to prioritize increasing to level 3, right, to get the maximum buff, because at this level, you are essentially looking at around 250% more damage dealt based on the HP lost. Now, another trace we will be needing is Old Alley. This one is also only rare type, so you shouldn't have too many issues getting it. And much like the previous one, we are looking at the main Trace Awakening skill, and that is When rescuing an Echomancer from being defeated, it will increase their MST and engraving attack by up to 75%, which will boost your damage insanely as well. And for the last traits you really need, well, this wasn't written in the guide. I found that it does help a lot, at least since CEN YING's ultimate is considered a summon skill. Beneath the Deception looks like the perfect option for it as well, right? So first of all, it gives a 20% crit damage regardless of any other conditions, right? And for each summon belonging to the Echomancer, the damage will increase up to 60%. Since we are gonna be using CEN YING's regular skill as well as the ultimate, that is technically 6 summons on the field already. So if you are able to max the skill out, that will be an additional 60% damage buff. Now you'll also want 2 to 3 Inspire stack buffers, right? So the first one that I would really highly recommend, because it will be the easiest to stack, is Born from Ashes. This one is currently a featured banner, so you shouldn't have too much issue pulling it. And since this one will be very useful into the future, I would highly recommend getting it as well, right? For this one, we are looking at the tactical upgrade. After casting an active skill or seed skill of both tacticians and supports, you will be getting 2 stacks of Inspire, which means both our Freda and our Long King, every time they cost a skill, they will be getting us 2 of those Inspire stacks. The cool thing about Inspire stacks is you really don't have to go all the way to level 3 in the Nexus run for these, because you simply won't have enough time to stack it, right? Even though you could. 4 is enough. However, I would recommend getting at least to 7, because from my testing, I found that I was able to use buffing skills usually 3 times. Sometimes you only get 2 of them in, right? So you are looking at around 4 to 6 stacks of Inspire just from this. Now the other Inspire stacking trace that I've used is Separation, right? It does not have to be this one. It can also be another one based on the secondary support that you are using, right? But for me, since I'm using Long King, it only makes sense to also get Inspire stacks from having 2 water Echomancers on the field, since throughout the majority of the fight, 2 of them will be present there and they will be able to stack some Inspires, right? For this one, you really don't have to go past level 1, right? You simply won't have enough time to stack 7 or even 10, right? So having this at level 4 is enough. As long as you unlock it in the Nexus run, you can leave it as is, and yeah, that will be enough. From what I found, in a run, you will usually have 8 to 10 stacks in total, right? Sometimes if you're really unlucky, you might have 6, which is still more than enough for the strategy to work. And now we can look at the memory trace that I've made, right? I have already run the Nexus run, so as you can see, the main important ones are to buff up your summons, to buff up your damage that you do. Yeah, so I think for this one I was a bit unlucky, right? I only got 20%, but I didn't bother to run it again since, I mean, you'll see, it's more than enough, right? These are the stats I have. So engraving MST and engraving attack increase once you prevent death, right? This one, Inspire, I got at 3 stacks. I really could have went 1 or 2. That will be more than enough, right? Extra damage by summons by 100%. That will boost you up a lot. This one, very important to max. I would say out of all of them, if you can max this, this will be the most benefit. This as well as this, right? Should be more than enough. Essence of Water, only level 2. Again, you can keep this at level 1, doesn't matter. And Fiery Strike, this one, you may see that I didn't mention the 6th memory trace that I used. And for that one, it really depends on what you have, right? You can go for a main stat. You can go for something like this into the paper crate, which will give you 5% crit rate, right? Like the rest of the effect does not affect my team at all. It's solely there for the universal crit rate, so that CEN YING is able to do more damage. If you find a better memory trace, feel free to use that, right? This is just the best that I found. And yeah, let's go into the fight. And yeah, this is where she shines, right? Joint operation. Previously, I have to say that before finding out this team, I was I was confidently doing 145. I found a team that was able to do around 160 to 170. But after that, I was struggling a bit, right? I believe 170 was achieved with like a weird mix of a physical team. The moment I tried this team out, we're going here. We're going all the way. I can't even go further, right? I would gladly go further, and I believe it would be able to be even further. But fortunately, 270 is where we have to stop, right? And yeah, as I said, I'm so confident this team will work in like the first or second try that I'm just gonna do it live, right? So here's the setup that you need. CEN YING as your leader with that trace, right? Not the trace, the engraving that you've just seen. This is your main damage dealer. This is the only damage dealer really, so do upgrade her as high as you can. Next up, Su Xiao, and then our 2 water supports, and then this unit has to be in reserve, right? You will need it here. You will need to swap out to him mid-fight. For the other 2 units, you can place whatever. I just place the 1-stars, right? Because we don't need those units at all. I just have to place them there because it won't let me start the fight without them, right? So yeah, we're gonna go into the battle, and I'll try to explain quickly how to do the strategy. Now, what you need to do is, first of all, turn off auto skill usage, as well as keep the game at 1x speed. Trust me, you will not be able to react fast enough if it is on 2x or 3x speed, and the run will unfortunately fail, right? So the team we place, just like we see in the lobby, CEN YING, Su Xiao, and then both of our supports. What you do is, first of all, you move with your CEN YING next to the boss. The goal of this is to get her killed as fast as possible and place some drones. So I don't place it directly on the boss. This is very important because later on it will have trouble finishing the boss. Place it somewhere towards the middle, because as you know, on his 3rd phase, he will become immune and he'll walk all the way here to the left side. So you do still want him, you do want your drones to reach him right now, but you also want them to be able to damage him in his last phase. So I'll walk next to him and place some drones, right? Now, as you know, this boss does have a lot of deflect damage, so your units will be dying very fast. As you can see, they are already losing a bunch of HP. Now you're gonna be using both of the support skills. You don't really need to use them. You're using them purely for the Inspire stack, so Freda's offensive buff, right? And after this, what I do is I switch out Long King for him, right? You can do it a few seconds later if you want to try to get extra Inspire stacks. I just want to be safe, and I do it right now. And what we do now is we wait for her to die. So there we go, she dies. Su Xiao prevents her death, and once the death is prevented, what you do is you move behind the boss and you launch the ultimate in the direction where the boss will be going next. So what we do here is we target the ultimate somewhere around here. I do want to be a bit closer to the boss. Yeah, we're gonna launch it there, and this is a very important moment. You have like 0.5 seconds to react. You need to launch Gaoya's skill instantly. So you do this, and you launch the skill to be right next to your CEN YING. What this will do is this will prevent her from dying. And now look at the damage. You have to do nothing else. Look at the damage. 2nd HP bar gone, 3rd HP bar gone, and yeah, this team is absolutely insane. This team is absolutely insane. I don't know how people find these sort of strategies out, but yeah. The first bar you will nuke a bit with drones and then with the ultimate. The second bar will fully be deleted by the ultimate. The third bar, usually I found that it will be deleted by your regular drones that you have strategically placed closer to him, right? However, if the drones are not enough damage, eventually the ultimate will reach the boss and will one-shot him as well, right? So yeah, absolute chaos of a team. However, it is able to do 270% so far. Once I unlock a higher percentage, I will try it out, right? Unfortunately, I still don't have the option to do the harder modes on the last 2. But yeah, this team is absolutely insane. I was able to get the top spot on the creator server, right? And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and peace.